to San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans, by the fans. I'm your host, Josh Taylor, I'm Justin Smead. We're going to be talking everything San Diego sports for you today. Before we jump on into it, we want to send out our condolences to Andy Reid. Lost his son, 29 years of age, kind of a tragic, bad deal.
Yeah, tragic story. You got to feel bad for him. He's the longest tenured head coach in the league. His sons have had some real difficulties with life in the past 10 years, so heartfelt time for them, and condolences go out to them. But they should be able to get through it. He seems like a tough man, and he got a lot of support around his team. So
absolutely, always tough to lose a child. Also want to shout out to our boys Nick and Darren with Pound for Pound Sports. They just did their first inaugural show on ESPN 1700 AM. Their show runs from 9 to 10 a.m. Every Saturday. So if you guys are up that early, check it out.
Yeah, check them out.
The guys talk all MMA.
Yeah.
It's great stuff.
They were awesome, dude. We got to check them out in the car, and I was thoroughly impressed. Those guys rock. They're really knowledgeable.
Absolutely. We're going to dive right into it. We're going to do our Padres weekend review. Started off against the Reds, hoping to kind of, give it back to them. They kind of came into our house and beat us up a little bit. Figured we'd go out there without Votto and do a little damage to them. We started out on Monday with a victory, and then they kind of rolled right through us. But then over the weekend, we took a series from the Mets, so, that's always good.
Yeah.
As far as our offense, we've outscored our opposition over that stretch 37-35, a little over 5 runs per game.
That's awesome.
That's always a good thing.
For this Padre team, it's a good thing. When you see that kind of number and the way they had struggled early on, when you see 5, that's a huge number for runs for the Padres. So I was thoroughly impressed with the Mets series. Thought they came out swinging, aggressive with the bats, and they looked good at the plate. The guys brought the wood this weekend, and I was really impressed with them.
Right, and that's the one thing that continues to improve is our offense. Our offensive numbers have continued to improve. Unfortunately, like we talked about in previous shows, I think our starting pitching and starting to struggle. They're taking their lumps with injuries and whatnot.
Right.
And these guys are kind of
tiring down.
Right, they're putting in an extra workload, and I think it's starting to take effect a little bit.
Right.
So hopefully, with Stauffer, and throwing some rehab in there, that he can get up here and kind of help out that starting rotation.
Well, with the dog days of summer, you knew this was going to happen at some point. It's not a full go every start. These guys get worn down even with a 4-day rest. It's for a pitcher in the middle of summer. It's hot. These places they go cross country. It's humid. Takes a lot out of them. So they might not always bring their best stuff to the ballpark that day. So.
Right, so back on the offense really quick, just want to throw some stats at you. Since July 27th, Alonso has been hitting .378 with a .395 on-base percentage and a .649 slugging percentage. Pretty good numbers for our rookie first baseman.
Yeah, hashtag beast mode. Yeah. And that's outstanding. We need our first baseman to do that. He's as good as he's been advertised before he was a Padre. Gaps hitter. Singles, doubles, just get on base. On base percentage is high. Just a bright spot in the future of the Padres. We are really loving this kid. So
right, and his power numbers improved. It went for a long time without hitting a home run, and he's hit 6 in like the last couple of weeks. So that's starting to improve too.
Yeah, that's going to come along because you can be a gap hitter, but once in a while you're going to run into one and get a good swing. He hit a bomb at Petco I think last night.
Yeah, deep center.
Unbelievable. I hadn't seen him with that kind of pop yet, and he put it over the wall, and I'm going, holy cow. Just some great offensive output by Alonso.
Absolutely, and then on the other subject that we were touching on, our starting pitching, they've been struggling a lot from Marquis to Wells to Volquez to Ohlendorf, and 6 starts over that last week that we just played. They're combined 2-4 with an 11.44 ERA. Wells has since been designated for assignment, and they've brought up Eric Stoltz. Who we got from the White Sox.
Second stint or third stint up here this year. They had to put Wells down. Struggling a little bit more. When you see 11.5 right there, I think it is. That is a ballooned number. You cannot have that as a starting rotation collectively. That is horrendous. That's not going to win him any ball games. So.
Right. For once, the offense starts to produce, and our starting pitching can't do what they normally do. we could have with those runs that we scored, we could have easily won, 5 out of 6.
Oh, yeah.
6 out of 7.
Yeah, but you got to show up with the pitching, too. I mean, it's either or. It's like the story of the Padres this year. It's either the hitting's been okay and the pitching kind of lets you down. The pitching comes through solid, gives up a few hits, no runs, and we don't get any run support. So it's a catch 20 or whatever they call it.
Catch 22.
Yeah, catch 22, and it's hit or miss with the Padres. They don't get the best of both worlds every game out. So.
Right, and I mean, one bright spot as far as the pitching, and they've been a bright spot all year long, and for past years is our bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
They got a 1.79 ERA over the last week, and I mean we can always rely on them. If we can just get it to our bullpen, it's almost nails in the coffin.
Yeah,
we got the lead.
That's praise you need to give to Darren Balsley and the pitching staff.
Absolutely.
He's one of the best in baseball, and he always has the bullpen ready to go. And even over the years, how there's been a lot of changeover with the Padres when you had a Gregerson and Adams, and now a lot of pieces have been removed from that. He still does a great job with the existing players, young guys that have come through here. They seem to come in and not miss a beat. They're big physical guys.
Right.
They pitch with authority, and they're not afraid to pound the zone and go after hitters. So
absolutely. So the Cubs are in town.
Yeah.
As
Rizzo
aforementioned, Darren from PFP Sports is a huge Cubs fan. I'm pretty sure he's going to be at all the games like he is every year.
Who cares?
But they also are bringing in Rizzo. And, I mean, since Rizzo's been called up from the minor leagues with them, I mean, just like he did with us, he's just mashing the ball, but he's continuing to crush the ball. He's got 9 home runs and 20-some-odd RBIs just as a short stint up with the Cubbies.
Right. If you follow anything on Twitter and you see the Rizzo mania going on, you would think he was Ted Williams.
Right.
Cub Nation is going crazy for this kid, and for good reason. He's got a lot of upside, and the Padres knew that. He just struggled here, but he's been outstanding for the Cubs, and probably couldn't have happened to a sorrier team. It comes at a good time for them because they're really struggling too. So, it brings a little life to the ball club just like Alonso and Grandal have done for us. So it's good to see them, Rizzo, actually doing well.
Absolutely. I mean, with the Cubs coming into town, I mean, they have been playing better since Rizzo's been called up. They're not in the cellar as well as the Padres are not in the cellar. And so I think it's going to be a pretty good competition.
Right.
Personally, I'd like to sweep them, but I would be happy with 2 out of 3.
I think the way we're playing at home, I think we won, what's the stat?
7 of the last 9.
7 of the last 9. Pitching's been solid. Run support is up like we talked about. So if we can get a series win, that bodes well for us. And, over a weaker Cubs team, but they probably look at us as the same way because we're a low light team too right now. So they're probably both teams are going to be real competitive in this series. I'm sure of it.
Absolutely. And over that stretch, they were batting .274 at home with a little over 5 runs per game, which at Petco is phenomenal. I mean, if they can continue that,
5 runs at Petco,
that's going to make them, a competitive team moving forward if they can put up numbers like that.
Exactly. That's something you like to see in the stat column. And for like we touched on earlier, 5 runs at Petco is so solid. So keep it up. Let's get a series win against the Cubbies because they're sorry anyway. Sweep the floor with them, and let's get on to the next series.
We're going to move on to our pick-to-click segment. Every week we go ahead and pick somebody that we think is going to produce handily this next week, and I'm going to go with Carlos Quentin. I know he's been struggling recently, but yesterday he had a great great game. He hit an absolute bomb, had a gap for a couple RBIs, and I just think he's going to stay hot against the Cubs and show us, why we extended his contract.
Yeah, I agree. I think Quentin's doing great. I think he's starting to find his groove back a little bit, like he did at the beginning of the year when he started against the Cubs.
Absolutely.
For me, the pick to click is going to be Alonso. I'm going to go with the University of the Miami connection, half of that team. I hope he keeps raking. He's had 31 doubles this season, and he's batting .270 collectively for the whole season, too. Gaps hitter, Gaps run producer.
Doubles machine.
Hashtag beast mode, man. We're really liking this kid, and the upside is phenomenal from Yonder Alonso.
So we're going to move on. We're going to our Bolts news. We're going to bolt up for Chargers. Preseason is here. Justin and I, we were at the night practice on Wednesday, and man, the guys really look good. It was really exciting to watch some of the guys just get after it. Some of the battles going on in the camp with the running backs and the tight ends. Even the the defensive linemen, defensive ends, linebackers. I mean, they were really getting after it. It was really exciting to see.
Now, that was the most encouraging thing that I took from it. It was good to see all the fans out there. We had a lot of good turnout.
Yeah, there was a lot
fans.
of turnout. Absolutely.
I think the biggest thing for me, what stuck out, and me and Josh the whole time were sitting there, was Kendall Reyes. Kendall Reyes he just looked like a beast out there. He wasn't getting blocked, and he was getting to the quarterback every play. So for me, it was the defensive line that looked pretty solid.
Yeah, absolutely. Kendall Reyes, he was dominating coming off the end. I mean, the guy, every time it was his rotation in that little defensive situation they were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, he just blew right through the offensive line and got right to the quarterback. I mean, you could take that one of two ways, the offensive line just letting them blow through there. But, I mean, from a defensive standpoint, that's exciting to see, and we need that. We were missing that last year.
And let's not, let's not sugarcoat it. We're not talking about he's played in a game. This is practice, but we haven't seen him in a game yet. But we need to see what he's doing in practice in a game. And if he does these things and continually dominate the offensive line like that, all they talk about him is he's big, physical, and nasty. This guy gets around the edge. He's got a motor, and we always use that high motor expression. But it's just the same for Ingram and Reyes. The kid looks awesome. So we have a really bright future with these two. I'm really sure of it.
Yeah, very exciting stuff. I mean, even Kevin Acey from the Union Tribune says he hasn't seen rookies that can contribute like Ingram and Reyes since Merriman, and that's pretty nice praise. I mean,
that was actually a tweet that I had sent out to Kevin. He retweeted me and commented. I asked him how is the D-line looking, how is Ingram and Reyes looking, and he tweeted that exact same thing. He said, I haven't seen anybody like this since Merriman, big, physical, and just nasty, and guys that are ready to contribute right away from the draft. Not a 2-year away prospect. It's now and it's go time.
Right,
so,
and that's exactly what AJ is there to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's doing his job this year. That's great. So.
Right, exactly. He was under the spotlight as far as he needed to put a team on there that can produce and contend for the division and go deep into the playoffs. And so far so good.
Yeah.
First test is Thursday against Green Bay Packers, August 9th. It's at 5:00.
Mm-hmm.
Blackout's been lifted, so it's all bolt up.
ESPN guys, you gotta watch it on ESPN. It'll be on your local HD channel. So make sure you record it if you're not going to see it. If you're at work, it's going to be a good game.
And don't want to beat a dead horse, but I was watching a little video on Jarrett Johnson. He was talking about Melvin Ingram, and he says, quote, "You can always tell about a player in the first week or 10 days. This kid is going to be a stud."
Yeah, and high praise from a veteran like that, especially a guy that comes from a defense that is dominated for the last 10 years.
Suggs.
Yeah, Suggs, Lewis, who's the other kid? Anyway, Johnson. Ed Reed out there. And Johnson was a staple there for their run stopping. And he's been with guys. He can tell. He's a veteran.
Yeah, he's seen Pro Bowlers work.
He has the pedigree and he has the knowledge to say, hey, look, I mean, this kid, first round pick, is going to be something special. And for Melvin Ingram, man, I think the sky's the limit. And you're getting praise like that from your teammates already as a rookie. That's awesome.
He added to that as far as saying it's the deepest front seven that he's been a part of. And, I mean, that says a lot coming from Baltimore. I mean, with the guys that they have year in and year out.
Yeah, you just gave me goosebumps because, that's a crazy statement right there.
Right.
If he's saying that about the Chargers, wow, and the teams he's been on.
Right.
So
that's very impressive.
Look for awesome things this year. We're all Charger fans out there are so stoked about our defense this year. Eric Weddle and Tari Bigby. We've got a solid core veteran guys. I mean, this is going to be fun to watch this year, guys.
Yeah, good mix-up for sure. Kind of some, new news, first, actually, for the NFL. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a female referee, Shannon Easton, will be making her NFL officiating debut when the Chargers play Green Bay on Thursday. Kind of, exciting stuff, different.
Yeah. Just don't bring your makeup bag to the field, Shannon. I guess I don't have a big opinion about it. It's a woman making her first debut as a referee. We don't have referees in place yet. The veterans, they're having the big contract issue with the NFL right now. So they're using people that have experience. I'm not saying she's not qualified. I'm just saying be careful out there. I don't want you to get ran over by Ryan Matthews on a a sprint down the sideline on 80 yards, and Sally's getting carted off, and I'm going, man, this probably wasn't a good idea, and pick up your makeup bag on the way out too.
Right.
But it's different, and I think it should be I think it should be welcomed.
Absolutely.
Give her a chance to see how she does. I mean, if that's her passion, she's good at it. Why not? Who cares?
Absolutely. So got a quick question for you. Will there be any surprise cuts the Chargers may make by the end of camp?
For me, I was thinking about it earlier. I think the running back position is going to be the big one. We're going to see maybe some guys we've seen last year, a few years ago, maybe cut. Maybe Brinkley doesn't make the team. I don't see how he does with Hayes doing well. Battles in there, Ronnie Brown. There's so much depth right now at running back. Edwin Baker we picked up late in the, I think it was 6th round. Young kid. Some of these guys might be thrown on the practice squad.
Hayes included. I mean,
Hayes is impressing some people.
He's
though.
impressing
All
some
you
people.
hear out of camp is this kid can he can cut on a dime. He's good with the football. He doesn't fumble. He protects it. So they're going to have some stiff competition at running back this season, and I think for me that's the position we need to watch out for this time around.
Yeah, it bodes well for the Chargers. For
yeah,
sure.
when you have depth like that, that's only a good thing.
Right.
So that and defensive line, because you've got so many defensive linemen this year. Vaughn Martin, Cam Thomas, big middle Antonio Gray. The list goes on.
Right.
And these guys have been here in a while in the system. Then you throw in Reyes. So look for that one as well. Running back and defensive end, defensive tackle. It should make well for a good position battle in the preseason games.
Right. Want to move on to our arguably our best segment, and that's DBag of the Week.
DBag of the Week.
Mine is going to come from a skit that was on Comedy Central. Jeff Ross shows up at Roseanne Barr's roast dressed up like Joe Paterno with 2 little boys in a towel and helmets and thinks it's hilarious.
I don't.
I mean,
I don't think it's hilarious at all.
What a friggin' douchebag! And then the fact that they questioned him about it being too early, and quote his response was, "If they offended by what they see, then they can do what Joe Paterno did and look the other way." Like, really? You're a D-bag.
Wow. That's bad, dude.
Yeah, Jeff Ross, you're a huge D-bag.
He should feel embarrassed for even thinking about doing that. Yeah. I mean, it's way too soon anyway.
Way too soon.
I could see, like, maybe 5 years from now, and you're going to even try to poke fun at it.
Right,
but
I can understand.
That's such a serious situation.
Right.
That
exactly.
sucks, dude. You are a D-bag.
Yeah, you're a D-bag.
You get the D-bag of the Year award for that, bro.
Yeah, we're going to put you up on our website so we can vote you in for the D-bag of the Year.
Yeah, you're an idiot. Okay, and my guy, we got another judo moron. His name's Nick Pupulu. I don't know what his name is. He's on the U.S. Judo Olympian team. He was sent home Monday because he tested positive for marijuana. Okay, that's fine. You smoke a little pot. Although he stated that it was a brownie that he ate. Okay, buddy. Yeah. Were you at grandma's and she was had glaucoma, right, and she fucking making her brownie time, and she eats the brownie and says, "Oh, cool. I don't taste anything different here." Right. Yeah, you would know it's weed.
You're under the microscope. I mean, people are getting kicked out for not trying hard. They're getting kicked out because they suspect of using steroids, and then you're using marijuana. Right. I mean, really, guy? You're under the microscope?
Yeah.
You're a D-bag.
Yeah, you're a D-bag, and you're a highly trained athlete. And you're putting weird tasting brownies in your body?
Yeah, biggest stage of the year.
And a U.S. Olympian on top of it.
Yeah.
Come on, man. D-bag. You're a
D-bag.
D-bag. So you get mine. Brownie guy. Pothead.
We're going to move on. This is the segment that we bring up your questions from the fans. We ask you guys all week long to send us your questions, email us, send us a tweet, and we appreciate that you guys do. We go through those specific questions, and we throw them out there. First one we got for you is from @Boogap, that's BOOGAP, the Bolt Father.
Big shout out to him.
Good
guy.
Big shout out to the Bolt Father. Who wins the second and third string running back jobs?
Well, for me, it's going to be Ronnie Brown and Jackie Battle. They're the most heralded, and I like the way they bring their veteran leadership in. I think they're the second and third guy.
Right.
In there, so. That's for me.
Could you say that? Who's our fullback?
McLean.
No, from last year. Hester.
Hester.
Could you say that Hester possibly could get that third position?
He's going to be in the fullback role. So I don't know. He won't be designated as a running back, but it's going to go 1-2 McLean Hester as far as fullbacks. But
I think Hester's a candidate for maybe a surprise cut this year too.
Yeah, I was hearing about that too, Jason. I think he might be on the bubble, and that sucks to say because he's a really good guy, and I think he's a great fullback.
Right.
So there's a lot of guys on the bubble this year.
But I mean, that's the exciting thing. Again, we keep talking about it. There's so much battling going on for position. It's just going to make our team that much better moving forward.
Right. Exactly.
So next question from @CT2SD. He wants to know who got the better of the Rizzo deal, or is it too soon to tell?
Yeah, I think it's too soon still, but the way Rizzo's playing is out of his mind. So right now, at this juncture, small sample size, I think the Cubs got the best deal because Andrew Kashner's on the DL, so we have no idea what he's going to pan into. I think he's going to be solid. I still think we got a steal with Andrew Kashner because Rizzo comes up as a little inconsistent at times, and he can go back into that mode of a bad swing or a bad mechanics. So he's had a history of that.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. Rizzo's a great player. Don't get me wrong. He's going to hit bombs in that ballpark at Wrigley.
Right.
The ball just flies out of it.
If Kashner can stay healthy, I honestly think it's going to be, pretty much a push.
Oh yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Rizzo obviously has proven that he has the offensive skills. He just needs to put it together at the major league consistently.
Consistency, and when you have a guy like Andrew Kashner that throws 101 on the gun, he's a solid major leaguer. I mean, and transforming him into a starter is going to be huge for the Padres down the line because we get a lot of guys back. The rotation is going to be that much better for it. So
absolutely. Next question comes from @Surfer3Jeff. He wants to know, does Matthews need to be dominant this season to help reduce some of the pressure on Phillip Rivers' shoulders?
I think Matthews' breakout season should be this year. As far as the question goes, I don't think it's going to take pressure off Phillip. I think Phillip's got the most pressure on him as a Charger, to be honest. He has the weight of a lot of people's jobs this year on his shoulders. North Turner, A.J. Smith, who knows? Those guys could be ousted if he doesn't produce well. So for me, on Phillip Rivers' pressure situation, I look at it like this. If Phillip cuts down on the turnovers, he takes a lot of pressure off himself.
Right, but I think what he's getting at is if Matthews has a breakout year, like we're hoping he will, and like we think he will, that Phillip Rivers isn't going to have to do as much offensively. He's not going to have to throw the ball up there, trying to make things happen.
And you're
if Ryan Matthews is carrying the load,
just like when the LT days were here.
Absolutely,
we break off a 20-yard run, 30-yard run.
Absolutely,
and then Phillip doesn't have to worry about getting the team down the field. So yeah, you're right on that.
Right,
that's conducive to what he needs to do this year.
Absolutely. Last question on this segment from @Boltz BOLTZ fan 1972. He wants to know, the media says Denver is the biggest opposition to win the West. Who do you think the biggest competition for the Chargers is?
For me, my opinion, it's the Chiefs this year because we don't know how Peyton Manning is going to look.
Right.
If they don't have a quarterback, what if he comes out and he's terrible?
Right.
From what I hear, he can't make all the throws.
Right.
He's not making some of the throws he used to make, and I don't know if that's true. We haven't really seen much of him. I mean, you see him on TV, but I don't know what he's doing. As far as the Chiefs, they're getting back three key players. Muiaki tight end. They're getting back Jamal Charles and Eric Berry, safety. Those are three perennial Pro Bowlers. Perennial.
And their quarterback.
Matt Castle. They're getting back a lot of guys, and they beefed up on the defensive side in the draft. So they brought in a lot of players, and they're just getting better. So my biggest competition would be the Chiefs this year. The Raiders. What do you think? The Raiders?
You know what? I would have to agree with you with the Chiefs, but I hate to admit it, because I absolutely can't stand the Raiders.
Yeah.
But with McFadden's running game, I mean. And Carson Palmer a full season now with them, and working all the camps and whatnot.
Right.
I think the Raiders, defensively are solid.
Right.
it's going to be a tough division, man. I mean, as much as I would love to say that the Chargers are going to take the division, it's going to be tooth and nail, which I think is going to be great because it's always been like when the Chargers win the division, it's always been, for the most part, a cakewalk. And I think that hurts us going into the playoffs because we're not battling all year.
No.
You know what I mean? When we were 14-2, we were running over people.
Tested, yeah.
Right. And so I think we're really going to have to fight for this division this year. And I think because of that, it's going to make us a better team moving forward.
And that's the gratifying thing, too. If the Chargers say they do go 10-6, maybe 9-7 wins it this year. They're going to go into the playoffs, like you just touched on, and they're going to be tested already.
Right.
They won't have any, thoughts of, we can't beat this team. We've already played the top guys, and we've already beat them this year. So and the division's better. That makes competition better. It bodes well for every team in the division. It's going to be fun to watch this year.
Absolutely. We're going to jump into our last segment. We actually touched on this a couple weeks ago, and we're going to bring it back, and I think we should, keep it. It's kind of fun. It's our over-under segment. So basically, we're going to throw some information out there and then get, Justin's opinion or my opinion on whether or not we think it's going to be better or worse than the information provided. First one would be, Padres winning 75 games, over or under?
Over under, I would say no, because I did a little math earlier, and they'd have to win 29 of the 52 remaining games, and that just seems like a crazy tear to me. That seems like a really good record going for the last 52 games. I just don't see it happening. Maybe 70. They can hover around 70. I don't know. The Padres, they just need to put a good stretch together here at the end, and that's all I'm focusing on. For me, it's no. I think they're around 70, not more or less 75.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty close. I mean, maybe that's the diehard fan coming out of me.
I hope so.
I think it's going to be pretty close, which I'm kind of ecstatic for because I really did not want to see that 100-loss season.
Right.
I really didn't.
Right.
I want to see us moving forward. So for me, I'm going to say it's under 75, but I think it's pretty close.
Yeah. No,
I think we're going to get pretty close.
They'll be right around there. So
next one, Rivers. Will he throw 10 interceptions, over or under?
Well, I think he has a way better year than last year. 20 picks is not going to cut it. Did a little more research. He's only had 15. It was his most prior to last season. So he's never thrown more than 15. And last year I give him a mulligan because there was a lot of tip balls and stuff. So,
right.
But I think he hovers around 10. I think 11, 12. I think that's where he's been all his whole career. If you look at some of the stats, I think that's a solid season for him. I mean, if he puts up 4,300 yards or 4,600 yards or whatever he put up last year, again with less turnovers, we're going in the end zone more and we're winning more ball games.
Right.
All there is to it.
If he's got, I'm okay with 10 as long as he's got 30 touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly.
If he's got a 3-1,
put the numbers up.
Absolutely, because I mean, for him to have 10 interceptions is only like 18 touchdowns, which I mean I don't think is even possible with our offense.
Right.
But I mean, if he's got numbers like that, he's got to have 30 touchdowns.
Right.
Now, I'm going to say he's over, but barely.
Yeah, like you said, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. I think he has a solid year, bounce back year. He shouldn't be anywhere close to 20 again. So
right. Next one, over under. Chargers will have 5 Pro Bowlers this season.
I'm going to say right at 5, maybe over. Who knows? I think Melvin Ingram's going to make his first Pro Bowl as a rookie. I really have high praise for him. I really think he's going to have a 10-sack season out of the gate.
Jot that note down.
Yeah,
Melvin Ingram, a Pro Bowler as a rookie.
Well, you can already pencil in Rivers, Gates. I'm going to pencil in Ingram. You can pencil in Eric Weddle for me, and then
Matthews.
And then I think Matthews will make it. So, and then we can throw another guy in there on the defense side. Somebody surprises us. Maybe Jammer has a bounce back year. Hey, there's your 6th guy.
What do you think about somebody on the offensive line? Think anybody from the offensive line?
Yeah, maybe Nick Hardwick.
I would have to agree. I would think Nick Hardwick. I mean, I think 5. 6 would be awesome.
Yeah.
I think 5 is that magic number because we always know that Rivers, Gates, and Matthews.
They're pretty much an automatic bid.
Is for the most part automatic.
From
a fan standpoint, it's almost automatic. So if we get 2 more guys, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
I'm gonna have to say more than 5 go.
Yeah, and when you have more than 5, that's a darn good season.
Right.
That's a really good season.
Yeah, we had a couple years there where we had like 7-8 guys.
I remember those days, and I miss those days a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that bodes well. That would be, I'm sure, 10 wins, 10, 11 wins.
Right.
Let's
6
hope they
guys.
don't send anybody this year.
Oh, yeah, right. Hopefully they don't have a Pro Bowl. That's boring.
So last one on our over-under segment, Aztecs basketball. Last year they were 26-8. So over-under, Aztecs basketball wins 28 games.
They were 26-8 on a rebuilding year.
Right,
So,
which is phenomenal.
And what they've brought in, talent-wise, is crazy. I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be around 29, 30 wins this year. I think they're really going to hit it hard. I'm sure they'll have a couple key losses to some big name teams. But for me, they're gonna go over 28. They just have too much talent not to win more than 28 ball games next year.
Right, and I think the difference is, the games that we lost to like Colorado State and whatnot.
Those are tough games.
Those are tough games, but I think we have the
this
depth.
year. Yeah,
we have the depth that I don't think that's going to happen.
No, the depth. Yeah, we didn't. We only rotated 8 guys last year, and now we're gonna rotate like 75 guys. So that's gonna be crazy.
Right.
No, a lot of players. 12 guys probably.
And 8 guys was a stretch. A lot of times it was only 6 or 7.
Right.
You know what I mean? They were only filtering 2 guys in, and it was just like 2 guys take a break, they throw 2 guys in there, and they just keep swapping them out.
Exactly. And Steve Fisher, like we've talked about a lot, his coaching style, he fits guys in really well with their scheme and what they're trying to do. If they're trying to push it down the floor, they're going to put longer, faster guys in for fast breaks. If a team's trying to pound them in the block, they're going to put the bigger guys in. He really sets it up nicely, him and Brian Dutcher. Dutch does a good job. They all collectively have a good game plan for every game. So I don't see him. I see him 30 games and an NCAA bid again. So
yeah, I would agree. 30 wins for sure.
Yeah.
They're over, and they get to the NCAA. We talked about in the previous shows, I think Sweet 16 is a minimum.
Sweet 16 should be mandatory next year, I think, as a fan and what they're bringing in. And anything more than that is sugar on top. Hopefully make an Elite 8 run. That would be awesome. And maybe we can.
I'd be stoked.
Yeah, maybe we can get to the Final Four.
I believe.
I would. I'd spend a paycheck probably to go watch the Final Four somewhere.
Absolutely.
I don't know where it is. I think it's Detroit or something.
With the show.
With the show.
I believe that we will win.
We get her done, man. We get up there and chant it and get the student section going. Me and Josh will be right in the front.
Fire it up.
Yep. Dressed in crazy camo gear, all the craziness, red and black everywhere. It's going to be fun. I love that stuff.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for always watching San Diego Sports Junkies. This is a show for fans,
by the fans.
My name is Josh Taylor. I'm with
Justin Smead.
And, just keep following us, man. San Diego Sports News, Padres, Chargers, Aztecs, bringing it right to you. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Later, guys.